Going on, everybody? I'm Rivington Bism III, and insta-locking the analyst desk with me, D-Man's getting to me, is Joshua Jat Leesman. Plus, joining us again is our very own Trinity Force of LOL punditry, OGN casters Monte Cristo, the Evil Geniuses Crepo, and CLG's all-star carry, Doublelift himself. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure.
It's great to be here again.
It absolutely is. 3 strong days so far. We're going even harder and faster this day. If you missed any of yesterday's action, here's a visual stroll down memory lane, a compilation of all the world-class plays from Monday's 5 Group B matches.
Day 2 of the Season 3 World Championship was all about the unpredictability of Group B. In the first game of the day, Samsung Galaxy Ozone flexed their muscles against the overmatched Mineski.
Here comes the stand united. Dandy very low on mana. He's going to be staying on the outside. Mata goes in for the ultimate. He is focused down very fast. They're looking at Yume now. Eyes onto him. He takes the lantern home.
And that is just them flexing their muscles right now.
But Mineski would not go down without a fight.
Looper coming in with the ultimate. Tries to get Exo so the damage can't be done. Kiting very well. Blade of the Rookin keeping Exo alive in the fight. And holy crap, Mineski comes up huge.
Nice one. Nice one.
In the end, Samsung were too strong, and the win improves their group record to 2-1.
Expect that hammer to be dropped, and it looks like they get up a nice pad on the KDA before they take down the Nexus turrets. Ozone coming into this one quite strong. The fight didn't put him on tilt. They knew what they needed to do.
Yeah, you can see a fairly calm and collected Ozone right there.
In their match against Gambit, Vulcan made one mistake after another.
Level 4 to 4, they're going to Diamond! Could it be First Blood? He pulls himself out just on the outside! It wasn't the Q! Psycho Sid couldn't hit it! The kill goes out! First Blood going over to Voidal, and Genja gets the second one!
Gambit punished Vulcan for those missteps, and they continue to roll through Group B.
Smithy may go down there. Oh, they throw the command shockwave! That was quite unfortunate on the Vault Breaker. He connects with it, and he kicks it back!
Nice!
Gambit, 3-0 here in Group B.
Gambit absolutely dominating this group so far.
In the third game of the day, Fnatic exploded Samsung Ozone's bot lane.
Cyanide as well comes into the fight, and they will be able to get this down. Oh! Very low. Looper is just getting crushed. A great ultimate coming in from Soaz, and they obliterate the bottom lane with 4 members.
And that's the dive from Fnatic.
Fnatic dominated the Korean Ozone, and the win would give Europe the top 2 spots in Group B.
This is the decider now. Puju going in. He gets hit up, but he's already taken down Dade. They turn the fight around to him. Soaz is 1v1 as well in the fight against Dandy. And Fnatic takes the jungle back.
And you cannot run from this Fnatic team. They chase everyone down on Ozone. 21 kills to 6. And another surrender from Ozone.
2 teams in need of a win played a very close game until 30 minutes, when Vulcan was able to pull away for the win to keep pace with the Group B leaders.
Finally, Vulcan starting to turn the screws on the Philippine team, and it's going to be Yume backing off. Exo gets caught out, Wither comes in, Vulcan closing the door. They do manage to get one. Yume's not going to be able to survive another though, and that surely will be the game for Vulcan.
And the crowd chanting USA in the background, happy to have their hometown team pick up a win right here. Hard-fought victory, but Vulcan's done it.
The last game of the day was perhaps the most important. Gambit were looking to remain undefeated, while Fnatic were trying to snap Gambit's 3-game winning streak to move into a tie for first in the group standings.
But it's the damage for Fnatic that's doing the job. They get 1, get 2, get in on towards Diamond, they get the slow on him. Soaz comes bouncing on in there, and Cyanide should finish this one out. It will be another kill. That is a 3-for-0 exchange. Fnatic looking strong.
The early deficit would force Gambit to gamble for Baron.
It's gonna be close. We can fight them. We can fight. We can fight. We can fight.
It's low.
We can fight. Fight them. Fight them.
Yep. Cyanide goes in. He's going to get locked up. That's Gambit picking up 1 kill. So as the target. Passive not available. Solar Flare finds his target. That's going to be another kill for Pushu getting on towards him. Gambit taken so low. Having to back out the side. Diamond goes down. Genja gets away with it. But it's another kill for Pushu. That was a 3-for-1. The score says it all, ladies and gentlemen. 21 kills to 3. They looked invincible, but wow, they've just been swept aside by Fnatic.
And after those incredible games yesterday, let's check out the standings for the 5 teams in Group B. Europe has the top 2 spots locked down halfway through the group stage portion of this World Championship with identical 3-1 records.
Samsung Galaxy Ozone and Vulcan are sitting just 1 game back with 4 games left in this double round robin group stage, while Mineski is yet to pick up a win.
All right, gentlemen, so let's start to discuss. Let's talk first about Fnatic's amazing and fantastic games yesterday. 2-0, jumping into the top spot of Group B. they were just kind of on a rampage.
Yeah, and Europe in general seems to be stronger than a lot of people anticipated. I know during the European LCS season, there was a lot of questions about whether they were actually good because there was so much parity in that league. We knew their mid laners were strong. We knew they had unconventional picks, but we weren't really sure how they're going to prepare on this world stage. And so far, it seems like they may actually be a little ahead of the game.
I was really impressed with the way Fnatic bounced back. Having that early loss against Vulcan really threw them off the game, I would say. But then, a day later, they come back and they just completely own it up. They played so well. Even Gambit played really well. So every European team has been doing well, and it actually makes me feel slightly less awful for not being here. So I'm rooting for the Europeans.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they did have that slow start in that questionable York pick, but when I talked to them yesterday, they knew what they had done wrong. They lamented that pick a little bit, and they immediately turned it around. And out of the two kind of expected powerhouses in that group, Ozone and Fnatic, Fnatic's been the one to turn things around, and Ozone just continues to struggle. So I think they're looking really, really good.
Yeah, and just going off that, Europe's like unique picks and unorthodox strategy really seems to throw Asia off. Especially, you see Ozone struggling against Europe so much. But I have a very patriotic hunch that NA is going to give Europe some trouble. Just patriotism.
That's cute.
All right, so Fnatic definitely wowed, got some fans yesterday, but there were a few other teams we were talking about as well, and one of them was the pre-tournament favorite, Ozone, coming into this one, which they have struggled so far.
Yeah, my eyes were on Mata because I feel like on Ozone, Dandy, Dade, and Mata are the playmakers. But really, Mata's the one who gives them the vision to make those plays happen. When I watched him play, I was really unimpressed. He didn't seem himself. Very uncharacteristic of him not to spam pink wards, especially against Evelynn. I think he's just really off his game, whether it's jet lag or just nerves getting to him. I'm looking forward to see how he adjusts.
Yeah, they were definitely a shade of their former self. I was particularly still impressed, though, by Looper. I mean, you're bringing in a sub, first tournament, hasn't played much before, opens up with Proxy Singed, played really, really well. But then at the same time, if your sub that you just brought in is your best player, or one of your best players at the moment, you're not doing well. So I don't know what really happened there, because they replaced him recently with instead of Home, right?
Yeah, and coming in, we've seen just Ozone be in utter disarray this tournament. It's not just they're losing lanes, it's that they're foregoing all of these fundamentals that have been so strong in the past. And has always been the emotional center of Ozone. If you look at the interviews that have been done with that team, all of the other players constantly say, oh, we really rely on to be our kind of emotional core. And he's 29. He's about a decade older than Imp. And in Korean culture, too, with age comes a lot of respect as well. So with him being taken out of the picture, even though Looper may be playing better in lane, they're missing something fundamental to that team that is causing them to play a certain way. And maybe we might see him in the next few games.
Yeah, I was actually during the cast yesterday wondering if they're going to bring Ohm back, because once they seem to fall behind a little bit in these games, they just kind of lose control, and it does seem like they need a bit of guidance. But I think one more thing about this team is they were probably greatly overrated coming into this World Championship.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because they won the spring split of the summer season, but they came in third place, or sorry, spring split of the spring, won the spring OGN season, and then came in third for the summer season and barely beat out CJ Frost for that third place, who also wasn't that strong of a team. So it's been a while since they've been at their peak.
I agree, and it's worth noting, too, that since they played Frost in that third place match, Frost is a team that's been having their own troubles with the mid lane, and so I feel like that may have masked some of Dade's weaknesses in that series, so we didn't really get a full read on Ozone as of late. But yeah, based on their performance, you have to say they were very overrated coming in.
Yeah.
All right, guys, well, considering and regardless of the results for some of the teams as they wish, Ozone and Group B do get a couple days off to regroup and recharge, while the 5 teams in Group A now take to the Rift. So let's take a look at the standings heading into today's games. China's OMG is now the only team remaining in the group stage with a perfect record, and because of that, they're in first. It's funny how that works.
Yeah, then in the middle of the pack, it's Europe's Lemon Dogs, Korea's SK Telecom T1, and North America's Team Solomid. In 5th place, we have the international wildcard, Lithuania's Gaming Gear EU.
And out of the first 5 matches between the guys in Group A, I think the highlight for me and many others was OMG's dominating win over the pre-tournament favorites, SKT here.
Yeah, in terms of SK Telecom, though, I'm not particularly worried. Again, we talked about this yesterday. SK Telecom has a habit against good teams of dropping the first game. In their last 3 best-of-5s, they've either dropped 1 or 2 games and then come out and won 3 in a row. So they adapt very well, and that's what we're going to be looking at here, I think, because they can make those adjustments, and once they see a strategy once, it's incredibly difficult to fool them with it again.
Yeah, and OMG specifically for me, I'm really looking at their bottom lane because in China during Season 3, you see a lot of Graves and Varus. Those are like the super common picks. Right now, because of Trinity Force changes 3 and 11, Corki and Ezreal are really, really popular. I feel like Son, I've seen him play Graves, I've seen him play Varus. Those are hard. I'd say they're counters to Corki and Ezreal on lane. And I'm really interested to see how he's going to adapt to the fact that everyone's picking Corki. He has like the easiest time. He has so much experience playing those strong counters.
That's a really good point. That's really going to play in their favor because if you look back at yesterday's matches, the inability to pick Corki or pick any lane counter really threw Ozone off their game. Like they had the chance to pick Corki, they didn't do it, and then they had the chance to counter pick Corki, and they really, I think, even when Ezreal into it at one point, it just doesn't match up. Like this patch, Corki is really strong, and you either need to, you're gonna run into one at least, so you need to prepare for it, pick it yourself, or deal with it.
And I kind of want to pose that question to you guys. As the bottom lane, what is that, what makes it so centric about Corki right now? Knowing the matchup isn't just enough, apparently.
Well, I feel like if you've been playing AD competitively for a long time, you should be able to play pretty much every AD at a competitive level. Since all ADs are pretty similar, I'm not going to lie. It's not like mid where there's a difference between like Zed and Orianna. They're very different. In top lane, you can play everything. Bottom lane is really just like you should be able to play just about everything. And if something strong like Corki comes up, either play it or play a counter to it. It should be very simple. What's really surprising to me is that these ADs are really just either not able to play Corki or the counters, some of them, and that's just like, it blows my mind.
All right, so shifting gears a little bit, I want to talk about the players outside of the games. Many of you at this desk have played in high-pressure tournaments before, even including Jat back on Dignitas. So what's going on in the minds of these players right now from game to game when things aren't going the way they think it should?
Well, for me, whenever I get frustrated or whatever because of a loss, the biggest thing is that you don't tunnel on the wrong things. If you're tunneling on, oh, this is so big, this is such, and it's really just not like a centric problem that you have, you're really just not going to be able to adapt and change your playstyle from game to game, and that's going to hurt you as the tournament goes on.
Yeah, and kind of going off that, the thing I noticed in my small time playing and like my larger time observing is anytime a team is in that high pressure situation, they really just default back to their core tendencies that they're most used to. And if they try and make an adaptation, it has to be to something that they've already practiced and then have that plan be prepared. Because if they try to go for something they haven't prepared, even if it's worked in solo queue for them or they think they have it, once the pressure is on, it never works.
I think that's a perfect description of what we're seing happening with Ozone right now because they're going back onto their older champions or they're seeing the Gambit Kog'Maw, Genji's Kog'Maw build, and then immediately trying to replicate that. It's really strange.
Exactly, because Imp's that Vayne or Caitlyn player, when we've seen him be successful, and specifically his Vayne play, is all about moving around teamfights and getting right in there. We saw him doing that on Kog'Maw. It doesn't work on Kog'Maw, and they just wasn't working for them at all.
And Krepo, in these intense situations, where does it fall for you?
Yeah, once the pressure gets really high, and especially when you drop a map, a lot of these teams will go back to their comfort champions. And once the meta keeps changing so quick, that might be a really bad tendency to break. If you're competing at the world-class level, you need to be able to have a wide variety of champions, or people will read on that, and they will just ban you out, force you into situations you can't recover from. And that's, as Mondi said, something that Ozone was really suffering from.
All right, we'll see if they can pull it back around today. It's going to be pretty intense for just about everyone on that stage. And the 5 teams of Group A aren't the only ones competing here today, as you gentlemen know. All week long, the 4 of you have been picking the winners of the games, or in the case of Krepo, not picking the winners of the games. But
good one.
Completely okay. Well, look at how you guys have been doing so far. The casters and the viewers are sitting at the top of the standings. Those 2 hive minds have guessed 73% correct.
Power numbers.
Yes, they are continually doing a good job so far. Keep it up, Jack, because it's you. The rest of the guys aren't far behind, and it's all up to you. So as you said before, Kobe's been throwing you on the bus.
Yeah, he tried to throw me under the bus yesterday because he wanted to pick the Fnatic upset, and I was like, I don't know, man, that might not be safe. I also told him to do a couple other things that would have worked out well, but he didn't mention them.
Are we sensing some rivalry between the casters here?
I mean, it's just
a game, Jack. It's just a game. Why do you have to take it so serious?
All right, so before we get to our first picks here at Worlds, it's time to talk about something that I can predict with 100% accuracy, and that's today's schedule. Up first, the Lemondogs try to mark up OMG's perfect record, and then SKT try to bounce back when they take on Gaming Gear.
After that, Team Solo Mid and Lemondogs face off in a transatlantic showdown, followed by Gaming Gear looking to take out OMG. Then, of course, SKT takes on TSM.
All right, gentlemen, Lemondogs versus OMG. Monty, I'm going to kick it off with you. Your prediction.
I'm going to take OMG for this one, even though I do think this is an extremely close call. Lemondogs has been playing well, and of course, now that they've had some time to observe OMG and their rather unique play style here in groups, I think they'll probably have some answers. But OMG, cool. He's just good.
Yeah, Cool's a pretty big monster, and I also think OMG is going to win. It's a really big toss-up, but I think, well, the word is that when Lemondogs gets behind, they lose, and OMG is the perfect team to put them far behind because of their super high aggression, early 5-manning. It's just a natural counter to Lemondogs' playstyle.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll actually have to go with Lemondogs here. I mean, I know you guys like this race now, and I gave you a little lead, but now I'm going to catch up again. I'm rooting for European teams because I want a top 3 European team because by that definition, we would have been the 4th team in the world, right? That's how that works? No?
Okay.
I hope so.
There we go. Sure. Exactly. But honestly, I'm going to go with Lemondogs as well. We talked about how well the European teams are doing so far here at the World Championships, but specifically why is because Doublelift mentioned that Lemondogs does poorly when they fall behind. I feel like OMG is even worse when they fall behind. I've been watching a lot of the Chinese LPL, and when they are a snowball team. If they don't get extremely far ahead, they fall back. And specifically with N-Rated now as the analyst for Lemondogs, and how well Lemondogs started against SKT on day 1 of
groups.
They
have really good level 1s.
I feel like they can plan a level 1 for OMG and just play conservatively enough that their overall team play will take over OMG.
That's okay, Jet. You can be wrong.
I think when we're talking about these teams that have never played outside of the country before, I think you got to give them a little slack in the first couple of days. But I think we're going to see SK Telecom and OMG really start to get rolling today.
All right, well, the split decision here between the desk. You've heard what these guys have to say. Now it's your turn. It's time for you to make your decision. Head over to lolesports.com and vote for who you